Well, some of the documents I was looking for. Benzodiazepine withdrawal syndrome is nearby. It will come up in a day or two at most. This, however, I was correct. It was a supplement to the London report of July 2003. It's got a covering letter, which I shall try to make very clear. Double failure for tranquilizer-dependent patients. 11th of August 2003. Actually, the Lantern supplement was in July 2003, which I think was the date I gave. The Lantern supplement, July 2003. Tranquilizer patients and healthcare, a legal viewpoint. Beware. I'm not going to be fucked around anymore. I'm dying anyway. Right. Tranquilizer patients and their inability to access healthcare. Indeed. I was sent to Narcotics Anonymous. And when I objected on the grounds that the drug I was on was prescribed and legal, which it certainly was at the time, it isn't anymore, as in it's not legal now. It's been classed, what is it now, Class A, I think. But a prescription drug to which I was involuntarily addicted and had tried many times to come off, with nothing but hindrance from the doctors along the way, nothing but hindrance. Of course I objected. I said, I don't hold it against people who are addicted to illegal drugs, but I'm not one of them. And I'm not going to join them to come off it either, ever, especially not when I'm dying. Thank you. Incredibly bloody hot in here. I haven't even got the heating on. Leave the window open. This would not have been for upload once, but once was once. This is now. This is now. I've returned to Wales from England, where I was living a little, and immediately I'm dying again. Primarily because of fraudulence on the part of my landlords, I have to say. Well, no, that's not primarily. Primarily it's because of the doctors. Who are doing their damnedest to make sure I die in the greatest possible agony. But there is. I don't know where that comes into the Hippocratic Oath, I really don't, but it's no less really than I've come to expect since 1980. It's a known reality that tranquilizers are more difficult to withdraw from than most illegal narcotics. A, because withdrawal symptoms are extreme, and B, because it takes longer. Primarily because tranquilizers remain in the body for years after consumption. Which is to say that, this is also documented, you can have come off tranquilizers completely and still go back into cold turkey withdrawal if you are given certain antibiotics, among other things. Doxycycline is one of those. Page 3, this could take a while. And longer when I do get that benzodiazepine withdrawal syndrome up. Oh, and most important, NHS guidelines. I've got to get that on the screen as well. Clinical trials involving mice were done in the 1980s. These mice were given proportionate doses of benzodiazepines for a period of 24 months. The studies had to be terminated as a majority of the mice died from liver cancer and organ failure caused by, oh dear, I'm ever sorry, I actually don't know this word, amyloidosis. Amyloidosis is a condition that involves bone marrow seeping into the bloodstream in order to neutralize a high level of toxins in the blood. The problem is that protein eventually deposits itself into organ tissue. When there is too much of a protein build-up, the organs malfunction. Gosh, I have liver trouble. The mortality rate in tranquilizer patients who suffer from asthma is 3 times higher than the norm. None of this, by the way, justifies throwing a patient into withdrawal against their will. You are perfectly at liberty to choose death rather than torture. That is your right. That is your right as a human being. I didn't put that up long enough, but hey, you know. There is evidence supporting the fact that women who take benzodiazepines for extended periods are more likely to die of myocardial infarction than women who do not. The properties in benzodiazepines wear off after a short period, like a fortnight, for example, or less. This means patients need to increase the dose in order to maximize the effect. It also means they need to increase the dose in order to avoid withdrawal symptoms, which are horrendous. And I think I know a little bit about horrendous. Well, that is it goes on. It's page 5. As I say, it was the July 2003 Lantern supplement. I was absolutely correct when I said Lantern. There I am correcting myself saying Lancet. Dear oh dear. Let's brush my teeth. Sufferers from iatrogenic neglect. An iatrogenic disease, for those who don't know, is one which is caused by the doctors, basically. It's a disease caused by treatment given by the doctors. And, of course, tranquilizer withdrawal syndrome is very much one of those. I could name a few others, you know. Thalidomide, stilbestrol. Of course, those effects are immediately recognizable as being terrible physical effects, you know. Limbless people from thalidomide. The daughters of women who took stilbestrol in pregnancy developed vaginal cancer. Or a large number of them did. I gather that's still marketed too, and I first read that article at least 40 years ago. What a pity there was no information about benzodiazepines at the time in my reading material. Amending patient medical records in order to hide the true diagnosis. Yes, I've seen some of that as well. I've been told I was given tranquilizers in order to help me off alcohol, which is totally back to front. I was not addicted to alcohol when I was first prescribed tranquilizers. I was not addicted to alcohol until 3 years after that. And not only that, but at the time that I came off alcohol, cold turkey, under my own steam and without any help whatsoever, at that time I had also reduced my benzodiazepine dosage to 8 milligrams. It might have been 6. No, it was 8, and then 2 months after that they decided to reduce it again to 6, without, of course, my permission, whereby my health started all over again. And I still didn't go back onto alcohol. That is the truth. And what this is all about, as far as I'm concerned, is truth. I'm so sick of the lies. And the fact that intelligent and educated people believe the lies because it's doctors who are telling them. Blacklisting, the wider picture. There are probably some 3 million adults in the UK whose health has been permanently damaged by benzodiazepines since their introduction in 1960. It was 1956. As well as some 2 million children damaged by inappropriate prescribing in pregnancy. I still don't know the long-term effects on my younger daughter. I do know her heart stopped immediately after birth, and that I was told that the reason was benzodiazepines. No doubt they will now shift that from her medical records very quickly if they haven't already, because after all my daughter might sue them. And she would have every right. Constant denial is pandemic. Yet even the Health Select Committee admits to this problem. Lawyers and patient groups have ample evidence to show that this abuse is going on. This is following a paragraph saying, blacklisting has the added advantages of cutting down the workload and providing a service on the cheap. For these reasons, politicians and the NHS have covered up for decades. Thousands of blacklisted patients have found that even if they're in great pain or dying, now look at the last 4 years, not one doctor will lift a finger to help. That's exactly what I've discovered in the last 4 years. This problem is growing at an alarming rate as more people fall prey to medical blunders. I think that's putting it very kindly. As if it was an accident of some description. It's not at all. Yeah. That's the next page. And I resent the distraction from what I really, really wanted to do, which of course was talk about my father and his ring. And yet, I don't preclude the idea at all that many doctors are members of exactly the same ring. And certainly the pharmaceutical companies, definitely.